Folks, sorry this is a little late, but we're finally doing the Traitors. Listen, I have to say, first off, I really appreciate, I can tell how many people listen or watch this because I got so many messages, and I got so many messages thinking that Rebecca or the baby was sick or something like that. And Rebecca does have a cold right now, but that is not, we couldn't do it because our co-host, Carsten Bergersen, who is here, he was doing this awesome conference in Anaheim. And then it was Valentine's Day and it just didn't work. So we're here early on a Monday on President's Day doing this. So Bergie, how are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. And I had an absolute fantastic weekend. I just missed our Traitors recap. That was like a big miss. And I was just like, I'm not going to do this at the airport. Like I had a full travel day on Sunday and then Saturday, it was Valentine's Day.
I've done podcasts at airports before and they suck. I've done podcasts in my car. They're never good. And so we wanted to try to actually have a real conversation. So I know we're about to have a new episode in 3 days, but we're going to talk about this past week's episode. But first off, you had a good Valentine's Day?
Fantastic Valentine's Day. Taylor and I went to Captain Jack's out. I think that's by more Huntington Beach, California, but fantastic crab, steak, and lobster. It was delicious.
You had all of those? You had crab, steak, and lobster?
So the nice thing about being in a relationship, I can split meals with Taylor, so I can eat as much as I want and get the variety. So it's
guys, for those people on the fence about getting into a relationship, that's a positive. You can split more food if you're in a relationship, so that's a positive.
And Taylor's very petite. She's like 120 pounds, and she maybe will eat half a steak. So I get crab, lobster, and half a steak.
So you're always like, order whatever you want, babe. Yeah, whatever.
I got you. Whatever you don't eat, I got.
There was like, I was going to go to Anaheim, but I think I told the audience it was 2.5 hours because LA, traffic is so insane at a certain like time period. And then Bergie was like, I'll take an Uber, but there was no way I was going to make Bergie pay $250 to come. I mean, he's always welcome here, but it was just, so don't come at me. It was something that I really would have loved to have, because I still haven't met Bergie in person. So
we're going to get it one of these times.
One of these days.
Yeah. Like I go to California like 4 times a year, and the stars will align one time.
So we had this past week's episode. What did you think of this past week's episode?
Overall, I thought it was a good Traitors episode. I really enjoyed it. We got to see like the Tara and Johnny relationship finally come out, which was kind of surprising because we talked about it last week. And I'm like, I think they know it's not that big of a deal. And then I guess they didn't know.
Well, the only one that seemed to really, Mark Ballas seemed really concerned at the round table when that there was a shot of Mark looking very concerned when they revealed they were best friends. But no offense to Johnny and Tara, because I do love their friendship, but I don't know if anybody takes them seriously enough in the game where that like affected things too much. And there's suspicion on both of them. So in fact, just them revealing that even to me made them more suspicious, because I would imagine that you then have to go down the avenue of both of those people are in the turret. Like a little faction of them will think that.
Yeah. And like, because I bet a lot of them already knew they were friends, but then to just announce it that we've been friends for like 20 years, it just adds a whole nother layer to it. It's like, okay, they were friends, I don't really care. And then you add like, no, we're really close. So it's like, you don't have to tell people you're really close. You just let people like infer.
We've been at each other's weddings. We had like, they really fertility issues. Like it was like, wow, that's amazing. But as I keep saying, this game isn't called Best Friends. This game is called The Traitors, and I think it'll be funny if for some reason they are still around and they end up solving the mystery of Rob Rausch. Like, I feel like at some point somebody's going to accidentally discover Rob, because at this point you're watching the Rob show. You're watching the Rob show. And for me, I love the Rob show, but some people really don't want to give Rob his flowers and are really doing everything in their power to take away what I think he's playing, which is a very smart game. Would you agree?
I would absolutely agree. And honestly, his biggest weakness is what you brought up. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but I was really thinking about this episode. Rob has never been wrong at the round table. Like if he's going to vote someone else out, that is his biggest weakness, and
he needs to make a mistake somewhere where he's flustered or something, but he needs to make it having thought that through as an actual move, because we saw Eric Nam get like pressured by Kristen Kish at the end of this episode, and he crumbled immediately. I thought up to that point, Eric was holding his own, but then he immediately crumbled upon questioning. And so I think, Rob, if he does that as a move, it's a risk, but at least it shows he's human. Because right now, when you make no mistakes in life, people are gunning for you, or people are like, why is this guy so special? Like, even, or even the pretty privilege. Like, this guy's so good looking, everybody loves him. At some point, they're going to have to look at him just because everything goes his way.
Yeah, and like every time he's voted out a faithful, he's blamed someone else's argument for that reason. It's never been his own argument. Like Eric, Eric knows pitch. I'm going to vote you out because Eric knows pitch and I trust Eric's judgment. This episode was Natalie's judgment. He was like, Natalie made a really good argument for you, Steven. I was going to go Johnny, but I really feel like Natalie's right here. And nothing came from his own argument.
Well, that seems to be a line that everybody usually is very suspicious. If you somehow say you are voting for somebody and at the round table you switch it, even if you switch it with a reason, that automatically puts suspicion on you where you're like, oh, so I think the way to go, if any traitors or faithfuls are listening, you always have to stick with who you said in discussion because it automatically becomes suspicious, even if you have a reason for switching your vote, because everybody's like, well, that's weird. You switched it, Eric, at the last minute. And to me, I'm like, okay, I could buy that Eric was convinced by a certain argument, but then to that group, it's immediately suspicious. But Rob is really fantastic to watch. And he almost scares me because I wonder how he goes through his real life, because this man is very thought out. And he doesn't come off as evil, but I just want him on my side. I don't ever want to go up against Rob in anything.
No, absolutely not. And if there is a Traitors All-Stars, I don't want Rob in that castle for very long. I can tell you that.
Bergie, with All-Stars, he would have a target on his back because he's so good immediately. Like people,
he would.
It's like Boston Rob. But Boston Rob actually lasted a lot longer last season than I thought he would because he had so much against him. Obviously he was a traitor, but he lasted longer than I thought he was because he's just so damn good at playing these games.
Well, and that was the thing, too, we were talking about last year. It's just like, oh, he'll be out next episode. There ain't no way.
Yeah.
He made it like 5 more episodes. And he was playing just the craziest game. He was just there for fun because you listen to his interviews and he was just like, yeah, I was just murdering people that thought I was a traitor just because it was funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, and two, it's interesting because there's so many different types of people that watch this show. You have people that love the gamers or people that love competition reality series. And then you have fans that are just Bravo Housewives fans. You have all of these different factions. And so Dorinda obviously murdered, and don't feel bad. Dorinda was on an extended vacation, according to Dorinda. But it was funny. People are like, oh, the Housewives are gone. It's not interesting to watch anymore. Get out of town with that attitude, you guys. Get out of town. Like, I get it. They're extreme personalities, but like, this is about a game. So for me, I watched this episode a couple of times and I understand that it's not as insane when you don't have Lisa Rinna there. But to me, then it became really fascinating just trying to see if Rob could survive another week without suspicion. It switched to that for me.
It also just gave breath to the rest of the cast to give them more screen time. Because really, I didn't know anything about Mark Ballas besides Dancing with the Stars. He's finally getting screen time. So yes, it sucks that some of the big names have left, but now we're getting to know more of Eric Nam, Kristen. If you go back and watch the first half of the season, they got no screen time.
Yeah, I mean, Kristen Kish did an Instagram post a couple weeks ago. I think we talked about her, an Instagram story saying that her and Mark became best friends during this. And she's like, you wouldn't know it based on our screen time. And that's kind of a clue in a sense, is that now we're seeing them come forward. We're seeing their personality. So there is something in me, this small hope, even though I do want Rob to win, that I think, is Kristen and Mark going to figure it out? Or is Kristen going to figure it out?
Well, I'm also just going to say, right now, you can see them being best friends. I think Kristen and Mark are their number one allies right now. So, their friendship probably started weeks ago for us. And now we're finally getting to see them, they're number one allies together.
Yeah, but we're actually seeing it in the edit. So they,
Yeah.
they've always been talking with each other. It's just that they've chosen to keep them back in the edit. And I think that's an interesting potential clue of like, keep them back in the edit because they might be coming on strong now. So we're going to focus on their relationship. Like the Johnny Tara relationship has already been focused on. And they both, I mean, like anytime they're on screen, they're screaming about like, I can't believe we're still here. This is crazy, which is entertaining. But at the same time, if you're a traitor, you got to love them because they cause so much confusion. And Johnny is so passionate, but he's so wrong most of the time.
Oh, yeah. And even tonight's episode, or tonight, but like I watched it earlier today on Monday. Just he is so wrong at the round table. And I didn't find his argument convincing at all. I'm trying to refer back to it. And I'm like, this is a bad argument. He's like, I don't even need to say that I'm faithful because I'm just faithful.
Yeah, I'm just faithful.
I was watching that and I kind of cringed. I'm like, no, I wouldn't be saying that. Like, I don't think that's a really good argument.
Well, it's the Lisa Rinna. Lisa Rinna never had any good answers when she was asked direct questions. And I think you've got to have an answer. You've got to have an answer. And I think most of us in real life, sometimes we don't have answers, like sometimes we do stutter over things, but you can't afford to do that at a round table or in those discussions pre-round table. You got to have reasons. You got to have reasoning. And so sometimes I do wonder if casting plays it out in that sense of like, yeah, when we did the interview with them, they were not good at answering any questions. So we put them in there because they're so bad at answering things.
I don't think it was that. I think it's more, they're just not making this, like, especially for Eric and Lisa, I think they just didn't understand the concept of being a traitor. Like, you still need to come up with stories on why someone's faithful and convince yourself that person is a traitor. Like, for example, like when you go to your room at night, you should be making up stories for every faithful on why they could be a traitor. And I think that's what they're missing out on. And I look back at my Traitors interview, they didn't ask like super tough questions about lying and stuff. And I think that's where people struggle in this game.
Well, also, there is this world that I'll always kind of a little bit be disappointed that they didn't make Johnny or Tara a traitor, because I just would have loved to have seen them not be able to be around each other. Like, I want to know if they would have been able to go against each other in any way, if they would have tipped the other one off. There is this element of, I just would have loved to have seen what that would have looked like. Folks, imagine if edibles just made you feel good instead of too high. Yeah, we're talking about our friends over at Lumi today. Consistent, mellow, and super delicious, Lumi gummies are specifically designed to make you feel good, not stoned. Whether you're looking for an end of the day de-stressor, a midday mood boost, or help getting the best sleep ever, Lumi gummies has a strain that's right for you. So for me, if you listen to the show, you know I have trouble sleeping. And so Lumi gummies, they're amazing. They sent me some and they are incredible. I particularly like the Rainbow Sherbet Indica. It's an indica gummy that melts away tension while keeping your mind clear and your spirits lifted. And it has like this amazing taste. It's like zesty orange, lime, and summer berries for a refreshing, sweet, tart finish. I feel like I'm on Top Chef when I talk about their gummies, but they have something for everybody. I mean, you got to go check them out. Go to lumigummies.com, obviously. But these things, they really work. Lumi gummies are available nationwide. So all you have to do is go to lumigummies.com. That's LUMI gummies.com and use code SOBAD, even though it's so good, for 30% off your order. Again, that's LUMI gummies.com, code SOBAD, lumigummies.com, code SOBAD.
I can see that too. But I also wonder, like, would that be just an early out? Would they have just
I know
known right away? Like,
it could be so obvious.
Situation.
Yeah.
For the other person, because they always work with each other.
I mentioned on Monday's episode that the Traitors reunion filmed on Thursday, and there was a lot of, Lisa Rinna, I mean, nobody keeps anything private from social media. Lisa Rinna came out there and was like, I did what needed to be done. You want a housewife? I'll give you a housewife. And she insinuated that, like something happened with Colton, but she doesn't even know if it'll make the final edit. You heard this, right, Bergie?
Colton stormed off the set.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're referring to?
That's the rumor.
Yeah, and I also wonder, I'm like, okay, if that did happen, I don't know if that's gonna make the Traitors reunion, because it's like the reunion, like talking to Andy Cohen too before the season 2 reunion, it's supposed to be like just a kumbaya moment of the season and just have everybody happy and jolly. So
But is
I
that
wonder.
realistic, Bergie? Especially when this season, especially the fandom has gotten so intense. Is that a realistic expectation? Because then I think the viewers tune in, and then if we see just kumbaya, we'll be like, forget about this. We want to talk about not only the game, but the reaction to the game. You've
And
played this, so you have.
I've played this, and but my thing is like I'm also not like a reality TV vet, especially in the Bravo era. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not used to like the housewife reunions, the summer house reunions. And I
Yeah.
think there's a difference between how the Traders reunions have been compared to housewife reunions have been. And I I don't think the Traders reunions were supposed to be like the housewife reunions from what I heard before like the reunion started and everything. It wasn't supposed to be like this grand dramatic like burning relationships at the reunion, but maybe that's what it's going to turn into with how
Well,
everything's been working
you
out.
I think like you prime somebody like Lisa Rinna and all the fandom like gasses her up. She's gonna like try to take a shot because she's used to that in her housewives reunions. And like, did you ever used to watch the Survivor reunions when they would do the 3 hour special and the last hour was like 3 or 4 months later and they would announce the winner live and they would do the reunion in front of a live studio audience? Did you used to watch that?
Uh, so as a kid, yes, but as an adult, I've been going back to Paramount Plus and just watching Survivor seasons through. I'm like on season 7, so I've been enjoying it, but I haven't seen like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think prime Survivor reunion episodes
But
where
that but
Jeff's on a jet ski and stuff.
Yeah, but actually, by the way, season 50 is coming up and they are doing the live reunion. They're bringing that back for season 50. So
And
that'll be
I
interesting.
saw a news article come out this week that they probably won't do it again for like 51, 52, 53, just because it's so expensive to get everybody back and film it.
I hate that, but like budgetary concerns, I'm sure. So after watching this episode, before we get into the recap of the episode, who do you speculate what's going to happen next week? What do you foresee happening?
Oof. If I was so first off, like the first thing that's going to happen is the murder. So if I was Rob, you want Johnny and Tara there for sure next week, in my opinion. Kristen is a maybe, and Natalie. I think Rob wants Natalie, but he would be okay if Natalie got murdered as well. And Kristen would be like probably a good one for Rob, but really bad for Johnny or not Johnny, Eric Nam. Like that would be a really bad murder for Eric. But if he did it, he would have to fight Mark and probably Rob. Rob would. I don't know what Rob would do.
I
Uh,
think I think Eric, I mean, at this point, Eric knows Kristen is after him. So they're not going to murder Kristen, even though I still think they should murder Kristen. And Rob would be fine with it because that puts the suspicion directly on Eric. But I do think Rob is being faithful to Eric at this point. Like Eric got himself into this mess, but Rob has not, in his talking head interviews, said anything like, I want to get this guy out of there. He's been supportive of Eric. So I think they're going to go Natalie, even though I wish they would go Kristen, because I think Kristen's going to figure it out.
I definitely think Kristen's gonna figure it out. I also wonder, and like the way she was applying pressure in the kitchen, like I think
Oh,
well,
she scared
she
me
knows.
I was sitting on a couch and I was scared. I was like revealing my secrets to the TV because I got so, I mean, I was like, oh man, I would never go against Kristen. She's so intense.
And she knows Eric's a traitor. It's just like he's the recruit because he completely changed up his game, and she's completely right about that. And him being in the kitchen, not knowing like a single name to say, just like Lisa, just like Dan Giesling, like that is the biggest tell when you don't know who a traitor even could be. Like you're not even thinking about it. Like you just know the answer, so you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I thought up until that point he was doing better than I thought he would, but he really completely crumbled in that moment. And it'll be fun to watch. So this week's episode, you guys, is entitled "Think Outside the Box," and they do the scenes previously. So Colton got murdered, Candace is gone. So they got a traitor. They were very excited. Rob chose Eric. We got suspicion on Johnny. And we start with the opening where Rob reveals himself to Eric. And this was my favorite line of the episode. What up, playa? what up here? And Eric is like, no. And he goes, what up, playa?
Yeah. My favorite line was slightly after that. It's, we gotta go kill someone. It's what we do every night. Like, it was just like, it was such like Saturday night cartoon, or like, I don't know what to describe it as, but it
Rob
was
is
funny.
so flippin' chill that it's like everything he says, it's so funny. Like, hey man, here's the turret. This is where we like murder people and stuff. Anyways, you're gonna do great, man. Like, I just loved all of it was just so funny of like him trying to be a big brother to Eric. Like, yo, man, you look really tight in that green robe. Green looks really good on you, man. And it's like his voice never goes above a certain octave. Like, have we ever heard Rob scream?
I'm trying to think. Love Island, maybe. Like, he raised his voice on Love Island. I know, like.
But remember when he got mad, he would dive into the pool and he would like hide, you know?
Yeah, and I'm thinking like, it was oh my gosh, what's her name? When she got. I was saying banished from the island.
Leah?
Not Leah. It was
Andrea,
yes. When she was leaving the island. Like, why would you do that? Or like, it was just like, he raised his voice, but it was still like the same octave of his voice, but it was just louder. And then also too, I don't think I've ever seen him talk faster or talk slower. It's always like the same beats per minute.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's so it's like, if I'm just so curious what it would take to get Rob off his game, like to get him speaking at a different sort of pace. And obviously that would be a tell. And so if I ever got to talk to Rob, I would just be so curious of like, were you had to have been very conscious. Your mind had to be in like a metronome where even if your heart was raised, you still had to speak in a certain pace to not reveal anything because you've set yourself up a certain way. And like, I do believe he's that thought out, which is impressive.
I would also love to see like a heart rate monitor on him and actually see if his heart rate, because it feels like his heart rate has never risen this whole season.
Oh my God. Bergie, that's such a great idea. The round table, we put heart monitors on them, but only the audience knows.
Like, just they wear Apple Watches. I would love to know, because my heart was probably 150 at one of them.
Dude, it would be so crazy if we found out Rob's was like just the same all the time.
Just 60, just a nice 60 beats per minute.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, Rob's like shaking his head like, that's right, dude. And he's like, did you expect it at all? I'm a traitor hunter. And Eric is like, I feel crazy. This is insane. Great job. So Eric is super excited. And Rob just is very chill. He's like, well, I got a proposition for you. You can either join me, become a traitor, or I'm going to kill you right now. You're a smart guy. If you choose to join arms with me, I'm fully confident we will win this game. And Eric's immediately on board. And then he's like, I have something for you, dog. It's the traitor's cloak. It's going to be okay, buddy. Green looks good. One more thing. We need to murder somebody tonight. And Eric is like in a talking head. He's like, I'm pretty much shitting myself. This is crazy. And Rob teaches him how to wear the cloak. Like, yeah, man, you got to give it more slack in the back, dog. And this is what the point you said, your favorite line. He's like, we're killing someone tonight. We have to. It's like our job. It's like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Did you ever see that movie?
I have not. I got to put that in my
list. Bergie, damn it. You've never seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
I have Back to the Future 2, Back to the Future 3 to watch. I'm just going to do the whole trilogy. What is it? Ted and...
Bill and Ted's.
Bill and Ted is going to be on my list. I need to listen to the Beatles. And then we'll see what else I got.
Wait. Did you ever see the Naked Gun movies?
Is that with Nick Cage?
No. That's, no. It's like a slapstick spoof movie, but your friend O.J. Simpson's in it.
Okay, the Taken guy. What's the Taken guy's name? Is that
Liam Neeson? Well, Liam Neeson's in the new one, but there was an old one in the 90s with this guy Leslie Nielsen who passed. Anyways, you've got a lot of work to do on your movie, but you're more of a reality competition series, guys. So the note I wrote down right here, I said, it's so interesting because Rob is the traitor king, but at this point, he's also the faithful king. He's both.
He's both.
Like, he's the best faithful and he's the best traitor. And that's why I'm like, even people that don't like Rob, you got to hand it to him. Whatever magics he's doing with those faithfuls, it's working. Like, there are so many opportunities for these people to like be suspicious of Rob, and we have not caught a whiff of that. And even if that's just him being pretty, like him being like pretty and dynamic, like that's still something he knows and he's using. So I've got to give it up to him. I know people really, it's so weird. I read things, people really don't want to seem to give Rob any props for this, but I think he's playing a great game.
Oh, speaking on top of that, did you see Alan's interview with Andy Cohen with who he thought the best trader was and the worst trader?
Oh, didn't he say Rob was the best trader?
He said Rob was the best trader and Daniel Reyes was the worst trader. And I wanted to know what your thoughts were on that. And like,
if you remember the recaps last year I agreed with, I thought Danielle was a horrible trader. And then I felt bad because I didn't get bullied into feeling bad, but I felt bad because it was just like, oh, you're so bad at this. And what I didn't like about how Danielle played the game was that it was like she was scrambling, and she was scrambling so messy that she was playing a very individual game. And, you know, and I don't know, like I don't watch Big Brother, so I'm like, well, that's probably how they are taught to play or how you have to play in that game, but it's not a group dynamic. And Rob has played a selfish game, but he has had more reasons for playing a selfish game than what I remember Danielle and her reasoning. I'd have to go back and refresh myself. But I do like that Alan gave Rob his props because I think he's playing a well thought out game. Like if you put like Candace played a game of reasoning, but it just wasn't like the circumstances did not support the way Candace was playing. But Lisa, if you did an interview with Lisa, she wouldn't be able to like give any specific answers. So I think, you know, Candace was good, but I think Rob, for what is happening in that castle, is great.
Yeah, and I reflected back on Candace too, and I thought Candace played a really good faithful to the Traitors game. As I reflected on it, like she was faithful to the Traitors no matter what, and that was also her undoing. For me, I would say Rob and Suri from season 1. I need to go back and watch season 1.
Oh yeah, Suri, amazing.
Yeah, Suri had an amazing game. And then for me personally, I think my worst traders, as I was thinking about it, like Donna's got to be up there for the secret trader. Like that was a hard position for her.
Yeah.
And then I also think of Dan Giesling for season 2. Yeah. And then season 3, I feel like, no offense to the traders, but they were just trader on trader violence. They couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be like a Joker type presence where you just want to watch the world burn, you know, like I do like reasoning, like, you know, and I think Rob is trying to win the game. And I think that's what you have to do, is that you have to, like, how, you know, as he tells Eric, we got to make it through the next 3 round tables. And they even talk, they're like, Johnny's probably going to be the next one voted out, so we don't need to murder him. Kristen has a shield. So the only viable options they're talking about are Natalie, Dorinda, and Steven. And Dorinda's very loyal to Rob, they point out, but doesn't implicate us if we murder. Natalie says we'll be hard to banish. And Steven seems very random. And Rob is like, random is very good. And in a talking head, it's like, well, I see Eric as an equal. I think we can win this game together. So Rob right there in his talking head is not saying, I'm going to throw Eric under the bus and he's gone, you know, like he was with Rinna. So they are at breakfast the next day. Who did you think, by the way, before you watched, that they were going to murder?
I really wanted the Kristen, like, murder with the shield, have her come back in. But
yeah,
I think Dorinda was a good choice.
No, I think it was a great choice.
Yeah.
Kristen is one of the first people in the room, and Kristen in a talking head says, Mark, Ballas, and Rob are very calm, and they're the people I trust the most. I'm an introvert. I will only say something when it needs to be said, and they are like me. And they're talking about Johnny Weir and being suspicious of Johnny. And, you know, Mark says, yeah, Candace wanted Johnny to have a shield, which was happening in the last episode. And that's wild. So that's suspicion on Johnny. And, you know, they're like, Candace wanted someone in there to tell her who got the shield, because it was Mark, Rob, and Kristen in that room, and Kristen got the shield, but only the 3 of them knew it, right? And then they bring up, like, oh, there could have been another recruitment. Who do you recruit and why? And they all say Tara, or they agree that it could be Tara. And Kristen's like, Tara seems frightened every day. But I think that's just how Tara is. Tara even laughs about it. She's just naturally, really at this point, doesn't. So Bad It's Good is sponsored by our friends at Olipop. Now, Olipop, Rebecca and I, we're kind of obsessed now. I've been chugging the classic root beer, and she has been digging the cream soda. And we have been drinking this like it's water. Now, Olipop is a new kind of soda that combines the classic soda taste with the benefits of a functional ingredient blend to support digestive health. Olipop is reimagining soda with high fiber and low sugar. My Olipop story is that I think I drank a certain soda nonstop. And I have to admit that I've kind of switched off of that, and I have been just drinking this. And this classic root beer, I love it. It kind of reminds me of my dad. He used to take me to like A&W root beer when I was a kid, and it's kind of throwing me back to those childhood memories. But this is high in fiber. It's low in sugar, so it's actually good for you. It's way better than traditional cola. And the functional ingredients, it supports my digestive health. I mean, these are all important things that I never thought about when I was drinking a soda of some sort. But now I'm thinking about it all the time. And I'm like, wow, I'm drinking something that tastes good, that I truly like, but I'm also doing something good for my digestive health, which I think is good, right? So, for you guys out there, if you want to try this, you can get a free can of Olipop. You buy any 2 cans of Olipop in store, and they're going to pay you back for 1. And it works on any flavor, any retailer, because they don't just have these 2 flavors. They have so many other flavors as well. So I'm going to put the code in there. It's drinkolipop.com/so bad. And you're just going to go there and put this information, and they're going to give you a free can of soda. Olipop is sold online at drinkolipop.com plus Amazon and available in the soda aisle and with the chilled beverages at thousands of retailers nationwide, including Walmart, Target, Costco, and Whole Foods. Doesn't know how she's gotten this far in the game.
And she's just happy to be there with John.
Yeah, she's just, I mean, it's, it's like, then we get another knock, and then Eric, Nam, and Tara walk in, and Eric says in a talking head that he's scared of saying anything wrong, and Tara says, should we talk about thoughts? Who do you think it is? And they're like, well, what are your thoughts, Tara? And Tara's like, Johnny's name came up last night, and that's hard. I worked with him. My gut is saying no. So automatically, you're not playing the game. You're playing the friendship game. Like, you're already putting your neck out for Johnny when it's like, girl, you're not even thinking this through, because at this point, if you are living on this planet, you have to realize you're suspicious as well.
Yeah. Well, especially for saying, like, my friend can't be a traitor because they're my friends. Like,
Because
that's such a illogical thing to do. Like, I knew Peter got recruited or attempted to be recruited, and
Pilot Pete from your season.
Pilot Pete for season 2, yes. And I was like, he is my best friend, but like, if we make it to the end of this game, I'm probably gonna have to banish him because maybe he's lying to me about not accepting the recruit. Like, I will go far with you, but I will not finish the game with you. And like that's the thing.
And
that's
you
like
accepted that.
I accepted that. Like, but I wasn't gonna tell that to his face either. But I think it's just so odd that like Johnny and Tara are just like so buddied up that they can't even consider that the other one could be a traitor.
I mean, it's funny to watch on a television show, but it's annoying at the same time because you're like, guys, like I said, it's not friendship, it's traitors.
It's a game. And you're playing Uno. You're playing Uno.
Exactly.
Give them the draw 4 card eventually. Like,
anyways, there's a knock at the door. It's Maura and Johnny come in. Maura says Candace did well because I never looked at her. And Johnny says how easy it is for a traitor to be next to someone that is a great faithful because they will protect that person a little bit. But I had no idea. I was like one of Candace's blankets. And he brings up that good point. Is that like, yeah, the traitor is not that Candace was purposely doing that, or maybe she was, but it's like, yeah, Johnny did not even think for a second, which just shows you how good of a game Candace was playing. And he says he feels like an idiot. He feels used. And he says he's overwhelmed. And, the trust I had for Candace has now called me into question. I wrote that the big personalities are gone. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. And then tapping into what you said about like Johnny talking about Candace, this goes back to Candace's game. I think she played a really good game with the group that she had. Like, she had a really good foundational group of faithful to follow her into battle, but she just ended up losing the battle against Rob. Like, I feel like Candace could have played a more excellent game if Rob wasn't there and she didn't defend Lisa all the way until her ship sank.
I know. I like. We're playing Back to the Future here, but I would have loved a world in which Candace said, or just how you talked about Pete, of like, at this moment when Rin is gone, I'm going to triple down and support Rob fully and have him support me fully and put a little bit of trust in something that has not been earned. But like, I would have loved to have seen them at that point, because I do believe Rob said, he wasn't planning on getting Candace out. So like, if they could have at some point come together, I think it would have been amazing, but that's just wishful thinking at this point.
Yeah, it's just wishful.
So big personalities are gone. Maura is like, I thought this morning it could have been you, Rob, because Candace voted for you, Rob. I thought. And Rob's like, I feel like she was doing like she was helping the other traitors. I don't think it worked at all. So it is funny because Maura, there's like this shot of her like, I thought it could have been you, Rob, and like looks at Rob intensely, and Rob just kind of bats that away of like, it didn't work at all. Like everything's fine. And she just goes, yeah, but she says yeah in a weird way.
Well, and I think I can't remember where I read it or saw it. It could have been a clip, but Maura hasn't watched previous seasons of The Traitors. She just
is
went
that
in
true?
blindly. That's what I saw somewhere. And so if that is true, that explains why nobody's catching on. Like Candace voted for Rob, like to backstab him. Like that would explain why so many people haven't like thought about the scenario where a traitor backstabbed another traitor.
I do wonder for the celebrities that go on in future, like, is it better when they say they've never watched The Traitors? Like, I wonder if casting is like, oh, they're good. They haven't really paid attention to The Traitors.
Mm-hmm. And like, it is refreshing because they're more personally involved in it too, because they don't have like a background knowledge. But at the same time too, it's like the strategy is kind of out the window, which I think Survivor sometimes is lacking in the new era. It's like every person feels like they've watched every season and they're the best strategic mastermind of all time. And I'm like, can we please have people stop talking like they're the best strategic mastermind of all time? Like, I want to see people like, I don't know what's going to happen next. Like, it's like everyone's thinking like 5 moves ahead. And I'm like,
yeah, people are making on Survivor. It's annoying because they make big plays before big plays need to be made, but they're trying to make a name for themselves because they're like, well, at the very end, when we go up and they vote for us, I got to make big moves right now. And it ruins the game because they're like, in season 10, this happened and it was amazing. And it's like, just play. I sometimes
just have
wish
fun and play the game.
Yeah, like I wish I could erase all of their memories of Survivor to watch people play that are brilliant in their own right without having like 50 seasons to study to get there. Anyways, so the next people you have Natalie and Steven walk in, which means Dorinda got murdered. And Kristen's like, what the F did she do? And then we go to last night when Dorinda gets the letter. And I think Dorinda was in that I'm just happy to be here. And even she said in her exit interview, I believe, or somewhere I saw a clip where she was like, I love Rob. It's great. I love that man. I love him. She just did like her. I mean, not that her heart wasn't in it. She loved being there. I'm sure she loves the attention, but it's like she never, the edit never made it seem like she took this game super seriously.
Well, unlike last season where she was pissed that she didn't get to wear all of her outfits. So I liked Dorinda's exit. I'm not going to lie. Like, just the way she handled it all. Like, she was happy. She's like, I got to go back to my Blue State Manor.
Yeah, Bluestone. Well, yeah, she says, I got to go. The queen has to get back to Bluestone Manor. And then it's so funny when they go back to the round table, they do like the rest of the cast say, Bluestone Manor. Is that a thing? Bluestone Manor. I want to point out, you guys, that could just be natural or it could be by design, because I've told you that Peacock is working on a Bluestone Manor spinoff with Dorinda. So I do believe they are putting the Bluestone Manor thing in our heads to keep it in the back. I could be wrong, but it's just like Tara and Johnny. Guess who's at the Olympics right now? Tara and Johnny at the same time. So if you love the Traitors, you can tune into the Olympics and watch their friendship blossom. Or just watch their friendship. So I do think that Bluestone Manor is by design because they are working on a spinoff with Dorinda. Rob says at the table, I love me some Dorinda. And then Alan walks in a nice, fun suit with his colored hair. And he's like, Dorinda, the traitors did rescind ya, Dorinda, thoughts and prayers. And then the clue is think outside the box for the game today. Steven says after this that his bags were packed. And this is when Natalie gets suspicious. She gets in a talking head. She says, today I'm open to new avenues. Something about Steven this morning is inauthentic. It was giving me almost fake. I need to start looking closer and not take everything at face value. So already Natalie's onto the wrong path.
Already. But I also think it worked out for Natalie's game. We'll get into that later too. But I think she's playing Survivor on Traitors really well this season. And
Explain what you mean by that.
yeah, so let's say like she was set up for murder. She doesn't want to banish someone that is also like on the short list for murder, because then her chances of getting murdered go from 25% to 33%. If you banish someone that is also on the short list, instead of having 4 people on the short list, there's now 3 people on the short list. So it was good for her to like team up with people that were also not on the short list to go after someone that was not on the short list and make little alliances. Like she's been doing that this whole season, where she'll make little alliances with people. And like same thing with like Rob, now you need to tell people you have the dagger because there's only one round table left, and this will help me not get murdered.
But I will say, I hated that move with Natalie at the round table of like, tell him you have the dagger. I thought that was a potentially selfish move.
It was definitely selfish. She's playing a selfish Survivor game, but I think that's her whole game. If you go back and watch it, like same thing with like the whole poison scene. Like I need it. I don't care who else needs it. Let me have the antidote.
Exactly. She's done that twice now, and I just feel like, by the way, it works for Rob's game perfectly because she's wrong, and then it's like it works for Rob's game perfectly. But I think I would be so suspect of Natalie after she did that twice, and especially at the round table, because it just comes off so selfish. But at the same time, you're like, well, that is a way to play a game, and you're scrappy, man. You're going to go down swinging. You are like, I don't care who and what people think about me. I'm staying in this thing,
Yeah, and I think she's the only gamer left, and she has been the only gamer left for so long that I feel like it's just made her like the dog's got to get her bone. Like it's like I need it.
Also, it was so funny in Dorinda's exit interview, or something I saw with Dorinda, she was saying that her and Natalie actually grew to be really close. And she was like, because she said she would love for Natalie to win. She's like, she's really smart. She doesn't miss a beat. But that's Dorinda, man. I don't think Dorinda was the most observational. It just seems like with like what she noticed and all that stuff. But it was funny. Like you get a different aspect when you listen to their exit interviews and things. Because I would never have thought that, she's like, oh, Natalie to win it. Like I could understand Kristen, but Natalie to win it was like a little shocking to me.
I don't think we saw them interact once on the show.
Yeah. So now we cut to after breakfast when they're kind of going off before their games. Johnny and Tara go off. Mark tells Steven, like, I'm 100 with you, dude. I'm great with you. Eric Nam walks in during this. They bring up Johnny, and Steven says, I thought Johnny would kill me last night because we went at each other at the round table, and he's going to have to put up a big defense to get through banishment. It is not looking good for Johnny. Then we cut to Tara, and she's talking to Johnny and says, last night in the kitchen, your name was whipped up by Natalie and Maura. And Johnny, in a talking head, says, we are struggling to find our footing. We didn't have normal childhoods. We were going to the Olympics. We have no idea how to play games like this. Hey, buddy, I don't care. You're here to play a game. I don't need to hear your sob story about growing up. I'm so sorry that you grew up different than most of us, buddy. I don't need to hear your sob story, Johnny Weir. You know what's better than flowers that die in 3 days? Matching underwear. Seriously, MeUndies has cracked the code on Valentine's Day gifts and beyond with their matching underwear for couples. It's cute, it's intimate, and you will wear them more than once. My personal experience with MeUndies, I think you know my journey. I can't show you, but I am wearing MeUndies right now, and I have the MeUndies on that have little hearts on it because I'm a romantic, but I also have ones with dinosaurs. They are amazing. I swear by MeUndies. MeUndies makes matching underwear specifically for couples, though. So same adorable prints, different cuts for each, and all made from their signature ultra-modal fabric that feels impossibly soft. Unlike other brands just slapping hearts on generic underwear, MeUndies designs coordinating prints from the ground up. And their Valentine's Day collection has prints made for two. It's the kind of gift that makes you smile every time you put them on. Now, over 30 million pairs have been sold and 90,000 five-star reviews for their products. People love these because they actually fit well and feel amazing. I can attest to that. And their first pair promise, 45 days risk-free, means if your first pair doesn't work out, they're going to make it right, and they're not going to hassle you about it. Every style comes in coordinating prints so you and your partner can match: boxer briefs, trunks, briefs for him, bikinis, thongs, boy shorts, cheeky styles for her. Same print, different fits. Valentine's Day has already passed, but if you want these delivered at any point, not just for Valentine's Day. It is for beyond. This is the gift that keeps on giving long after the holiday is over. So make this Valentine's Day and beyond one to remember with matching underwear from MeUndies. To get exclusive deals up to 50% off, go to MeUndies.com/SoBad and enter promo code SoBad. That's very important. Enter promo code SoBad. That's MeUndies.com/SoBad. Promo code SoBad for up to 50% off. That's promo code SoBad for up to 50% off.
I didn't think that was a sob story. I'm like, that's an Olympic advertisement right there. Telling me that you're in the Olympics.
But I was like, cue the violins. What am I supposed to give it to you because you didn't have normal childhoods?
I think he was hyping himself up, but I was like, the Olympics you did great in. Don't get me wrong. I went back and watched this 2006 Olympic figure skating. But like, you guys cannot play the Traitors right now. You guys.
I did go back and watch, I saw a video of Tara's Olympics, and like, my God, I mean,
when she was 12.
Yeah, God,
yeah,
just
crazy.
I couldn't even wipe myself at 12, and this person's doing. I mean, it's truly. I mean, when you see some of that stuff, it's magical. You're like, this is such an art. So Johnny is saying he has a feeling about Steven, and they bring up the same thing about, they bring up this moment that we talked about last week where it says, last night Candace talked to Steven in a room and Candace sent Johnny away. Remember they had that moment and Dorinda walked away with Johnny going, that's a tell right there. Mm-hmm. And so that moment gets brought back. But the funny thing is Rob had that same moment with Candace and Steven never brings it up because Steven was asked to leave by Candace and Rob. Remember right after
I remember that. Yep.
So the fact that Steven at the round table didn't bring that up at the last minute after that shocked me.
Steven, like we were talking about this with Trishelle too. Steven's just a quiet guy, and I don't think he talks a lot. So
but he's not a dumb guy. He's not a dumb guy
either.
And if that spotlight if people are paying attention to things like what Johnny just brought up, wouldn't they pay attention to that same thing that Steven was actively there for? And it would be great to hear Rob defend himself of why you asked Steven to go away. So what did you and Candace talk about? I would want to know that.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is too, I'm just amazed that Rob has not been under anybody's radar once. He's always been clear. Like he hasn't done anything to be on anybody's radar to even question it.
Yeah. So Tara points out we have to find the people we really trust and talk about it to Johnny. And Tara at a talking head goes, the Traitors don't realize that I will do anything for Johnny. Part of my strategy was to not let people know how close they are, but they picked the wrong girl to mess with. Tara, you won the gold in friendship. Other than that, I don't know. We get it. We get it. You're the best friend anybody could ever have. We cut to Maura, Eric, and Rob fully lounging in another room. And people did point out that Rob is just so casual. He's laying there like fruit is being fed to him, and his hands laid back where it's kind of brushing up against Maura's leg. Did you see that?
Oh, I saw it. I saw it.
I'm
going, what is going on?
Yeah. And Eric in a talking head says, Rob is an eagle soaring across the sky, laying there in a crop top vest on hands behind his back. I'm just trying to keep up. And they're talking and Eric's like, well, there's probably 2 traitors from what I would imagine. And Moore's like, yeah, who else is it? I can't do her accent. Rob is like, yeah. And then we cut to Tara pulling Kristen for a chat. And Tara's like, the last 2 days I have this reputation. I really trust you, Kristen. I have really strong gut feelings. Maybe it's Steven. And Kristen says no. And the whole point of this, because Tara's like, who do you think it is? And Kristen's like, you. I think it's you. You seem so scared all the time. I gravitate towards confidence. And it's like, because Kristen thinks it's fully you. Do you think Kristen in that moment do you think Kristen was smart to do point blank like that with Tara?
No, I don't think you should tell a traitor point blank that.
Exactly.
You're a traitor. That's how you get murdered, especially in a room by yourself. You have at least one other person in there if you're going to say, I think you're a traitor.
But Kristen's right, though. There are certain people, and confident people attract other confident people. But, I'm not a confident person. So, that's why another thing, I don't think I would play this game well. Because even if I was faithful, I think I would act like a traitor because I would just be so damn nervous and apologetic all the time.
You know who the most confident person in there right now is?
Who?
Rob.
Yeah.
So by her logic, the most confident, it's the other way. Don't go for the nervous people, go for the most confident people.
And the most confident person oblivious-wise is Johnny, I think. Johnny's like kind of oblivious to actual things happening, but he's very confident in himself. So they say that, and Kristen's like, and then it's like, you're annoying thing. Tara goes, well, I'm not. I'm a faithful. Okay, great. I guess we can call it a day now. Tara in a talking head says, if she doesn't think it's Steven, I need to come up with a new plan because I trust her so much. And then we cut to the cars on the way to the challenge, and Steven's like with Mark, and they're saying, I'm Johnny all the way. Johnny's in a car with Maura and Rob. And Johnny says he's not good at defending himself. And Rob's like, I've heard every name at this point, brother. I've heard Rob at this point is in almost like a full Southern twang. He's like, I've heard almost every name, brother. It just keeps getting stronger every episode. Johnny in a talking head says, the entire castle thinks I'm a traitor. I have nothing to lose, but I'm finding empowerment in that. We see a half circle of Jack in the Boxes, you guys. And, Alan tells us that once lids are closed, answer questions about traitors' opinions. And if yours match your own answers given by, I don't know. What did you think of this game? Basically, the traitors have to answer questions. And if yours matches up with the traitors, you add $500 to the prize pot.
Yes, I thought it was a good challenge. They've done it in the past, but I think, especially after Rob's done it, if they get traitors in the future that watch this season, I think it's going to end up being exactly like this, where the traitors don't slip up. They just pick one name and they just throw one person under the bus, just because I feel like that's the best strategy to do this if you're a traitor, because you don't want to give the faithful any information on how you're proceeding the game.
That's the thing. Like the games, are hit or miss. But I will say the funnest part of this game was that they just kept voting Tara, the traitors. The other thing that pisses me off about this part of the game was that I'm willing to bet my entire life that they added in squeaky sound effects when the boxes would open, when the traitors would have to get out. But that's the other thing that I kept thinking of, like, so the lids would go down, and then the two traitors, Eric and Rob, would have to pop up and come out and confer about who they were going to vote for. And they put in these squeaky sounds where, I'm sorry, if you're in the box next to, you would hear Rob's box squeak. There's just no way you wouldn't. So I want to know what the sound truly was like, and if there really was any danger of them being found out.
Well, and then I heard, like, people theorizing on it online, like they had to be soundproof boxes for sure.
Yeah, they had to be.
And then the other thing is right before like the challenge starts, Alan whispers to the camera, it's like, be quiet, boys, or whatever, something like that. So then, like, if you were to hear Alan say that, like, everyone would know the traitors are boys.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Like, it would narrow it down.
Those little Alan things, I assume that they filmed beforehand or afterwards.
Probably. Yeah,
like pickup shots.
Yeah.
But that was the one thing that annoyed me, because I was like, I want to believe that there's real danger here. But also, I don't want to think that just because of a squeaky box that Rob would lose his entire game.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's no danger there, which kind of took the excitement out of the challenge.
Yeah.
For sure.
The 4 questions have to be answered. You can add 18,000 to the prize pot. And Rob is like, yo, I think we can get a lot of clues from these answers, playing King of the Faithfuls. And Rob has a talking head that set pulses racing. He goes, this is a tense moment, but I can be sneaky. I can be nimble like a cat. Meow. Bro, I don't need my lady to see that on Valentine's Day. I'm come on, brother, leave a little for the rest of us. Like, this guy, I mean, I saw women talk about this, and probably guys too, that saying this guy is now, this is how confident he is. He's even cocky in the talking heads and being like having fun,
Well, and I want to be having fun. Like, that makes the best television. And
yeah,
being nimble, like the extra meow at the end was meme worthy. Like, that's just a meme now.
So anyways, Rob and Eric sneak out, and this is when they like, let's vote for the same person. It'll make Tara paranoid. And Eric is like, yeah, let's throw him off to give him, we won't give him clues that way. And so they keep doing this. So like the first one was, what was the question?
It was, who do you think
the traitors think is the most useful to them, right?
Yep.
And so they all split their votes, like 2 for Eric, 2 for Johnny, 2 for Natalie, 2 for Rob, 2 for Rob, 2 for Tara. And, the Jack in the Box pops up, and it's Tara. And Tara's like, they find me useful. They're not going to murder me. Hopefully you just don't want your name mentioned at all. I like that she found a positive in it of like, oh, if they keep saying my name, that means they're not going to murder me. But Rob, so we find out their gameplay is just to keep voting Tara, no matter what the question is. Did you take anything else from this game?
No, I thought it was a good strategy by Rob, though, and probably Eric, just to throw Tara out there. So that's all the information the faithful got. I thought that was a great strategy.
This is when Johnny in a talking head once again stands up for Tara. This feels so personal. We've gone through so much together, divorce, infertility, so I hate to have anyone think my friend is manipulative. I'm like, Johnny, man, just play the game, brother. Like, your friendship's going to survive. And then they keep voting Tara. And then even on the last one, this is where I'm like, you guys, Johnny and Tara, you don't get it, man. On the last one, everybody kind of agrees, I thought, to vote Tara just to get prize pot money, and they vote differently. And Johnny's like, oh, I didn't realize. And Maura's like, Tara! 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 Like, why would you vote differently on that last one? That is so suspicious.
It's suspicious, but I understand, like, they have, like, a personal, like, is it vendetta the right word, or like emotional response to Tara being picked every single time?
Yeah.
But it just doesn't, from a game point, like, that's not what you want to do in that moment.
No, not at all. And it was funny. But anyways, so they only banked 5,500 out of 18,000. And Rob says this is one of our worst challenges. And Alan says that they saved the best for last because there's one more question. And it's, who do the traitors want to shortlist for murder tonight? And the traitors will emerge and pick 4 players to be shortlisted for murder. Either faithful or traitors can be shortlisted for murder. Now, if you watch other iterations of the traitors, they've done this before where traitors will put themselves in harm's way to kind of throw off suspicion. I'm trying to think, was it the UK? What's the one with the dungeon where they had
season 2?
Yeah, season 2.
Harry, I think it was his name, not Harry. Who had the ginger hair? Oh my gosh, the word hair. Can't think of his name. But Paul, was it Paul?
I think so, remember. Yeah. But one of the traitors went in there, put himself in there, and it's a really tricky move. But what Rob, being so smart, says, Rob's like, let's not put either of us on the short list because they're going to automatically assume that that a traitor is on the short list to throw them off. I thought that was a brilliant move.
Brilliant move. And I think in one of the seasons, I don't know if it was UK, I can't remember. I've watched so many traitor seasons. There was one season where they put their name on the short list, and then they couldn't murder anybody that night because the only person left on the short list was the traitor. So the traitor showed up to breakfast the next day, and then they banished them because they're like, well, why aren't you murdered?
I love that Rob says they think we're super smart, so we have to outsmart them. I mean, that's it. So he's thinking like they think we're super smart, and in that, they would think we would put ourselves in there. So we have to reverse that and outsmart them in that way. And then so the players who can't lift their lids will be locked in their boxes for murder. And so we find out that Natalie, Tara, Kristen, and Johnny are shortlisted. And Robin in Talking Head says, Johnny because he's suspicious, Tara because they're hand in hand, Natalie because she's a smart player, you don't want her around any longer, and Kristen because if she got my scent, we would be in trouble. And so Rob nails that. That's exactly the way, because I think Kristen and Natalie are those two people that you want out of there. Natalie and Johnny, I think they can handle unless they accidentally come upon some sort of clue. But Kristen and Natalie are the ones I'm really worried about in terms of wanting Rob to stay.
Yeah, but I feel like Rob's got them in his pocket. Just Eric is the one in trouble.
Yeah, well, because unless somebody puts it together that there was a recruitment, and then it would be Eric all of a sudden got nervous.
Well, I also too. Yeah, they're gonna think Eric's the recruit because his personality completely changed. Because I was gonna say, otherwise they'd be asking, who did Eric recruit? The question would be like, who would recruit Eric if they find out he's a traitor?
Yeah, and then I think also you could. Maybe suspicion will be thrown on Mark Ballas, but I think Kristen Kish will extinguish that because she'll be like, no, I trust him with my life, period.
Yeah, and knowing that they're best friends, that would get put back on Rob. So I think they need to get rid of Kristen. Like, I think that'd be their best vote out for murder. And then Rob's going to have to try to convince. That's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough episode next week for the traitors.
But I think that's what you want in this game as a traitor, to go this far where it becomes more tense watching this game if you are seeing how Rob can get out of it this time. So we're back at the castle, and Natalie in the car. Well, no, we're almost back at the castle, but they're in the car, and Natalie says, I was thinking traitor in the box, but seeing us in this car, I don't think there's a traitor here. She's talking to the shortlisted people here. And Natalie says,
that's her making an alliance so she doesn't get has a 1 out of 3 chance
Yeah,
out of
I was
getting
like,
voted out.
what are you talking about, a murder? I mean, like, how do you know that? Johnny and Tara are in the car. Natalie says something in Johnny's body language is giving faithful. Something in he's like, he's the defeated energy. I'm going with my instinct of Steven. I want to talk to him. And then we cut to Mark, Steven, and Maura and Rob, and they're eating. And they said, if it's Johnny, it's an interesting play to vote Tara. And Rob says they're playing a dangerous game being so close. And at that moment, Tara and Johnny walk past. And Mark says, Johnny might have Tara in his back pocket. I didn't realize how close they were. And then we cut to Natalie, Mark, and Rob, and Kristen comes in. And Natalie says, if they're going to murder me, I want to say this. And Mark says, get it out quick. And Natalie says, something in me is saying Steven. Something inauthentic. Sometimes it's fake. How can you avoid the coins that Lisa gave him in that challenge from a couple of episodes ago? So we're going back to that moment where Steven asks Rinna for the coins. And she's like, this points towards Steven. And Robin at Talking says, all day Eric and I plan to vote for Johnny, but there's a lot of heat on Johnny, and so he would probably get voted out next anyways, but me and Eric, we can do a lot of eye talking if we need to switch the vote. I don't think Eric can do a lot of eye talking. I think Rob's good at eye talking. I don't think Eric is good at eye talking.
I wonder how good Rob is at eye talking. Like, if you could actually pick up what he's trying to say.
I think
he'd be good.
Because you know how many, I just assume, and I believe most of his eye talking is with girls. Like, hey, you want to get out of here? Like, I bet he does really good, like, flirty eye talking. But and also, I wonder if, like, people are so, sorry to pardon my language, dickmatized by Rob that they can't even bear to like look at him in the eyes because they get shy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know what you're saying.
Like, I wonder if he's that powerful of a presence.
I want to see this guy in person again.
When did you see him in person?
Well, he came into the villa.
Are you a traitor?
No. He came into the villa for like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 minutes. They like introduced the Costa boys, and then they left.
Oh yeah, because he was on the
5.
season before his main season. Oh
yeah.
Right. And what was do you remember the vibe he gave off?
Well, I don't care that I'm here, bro. Kind of vibe. Like, he was out there in camouflage pants, if I'm remembering this right, and then a tank top, and it was just arms crossed, and it was just like, yeah, I'm just here.
Well, I will say to Rob, or at least the illusion of Rob, is that all the rest of these people, and I don't mean Mark and I don't mean Kristen, because they're on reality competition series that are like kind of respected, like Top Chef and Dancing with the Stars. But a lot of the rest of them, they really depend on the public to keep them going, to keep making money. Rob always has struck me as like, he's not taken the big money deals ever since Love Island. He's not out there fighting to be on another reality show. Like, he was asked a couple of times to do this, from my understanding, and he's like kind of, push that stuff away. So there is something I respect about somebody that's not out there constantly in your face begging for the public to support them.
Mm-hmm. And just, he does what he thinks he would enjoy doing. Like, there's something about that's more fun to watch than just seeing someone on, I don't know, like, just a random reality TV show.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I think I'm in love with Rob. I've just got to live my truth. I love this man. Anyways, so Rob, so Kristen says, no matter what you guys are doing, I'm going to write down Tara tonight. And I had a talk with her where I told her it was her as a traitor. And then all of a sudden I was in a box, Kristen says. And Johnny tells Tara, I'm going to go hard at this round table. And Tara's like, Johnny, let's jump in together and go out like guns blazing and stand up for each other. Tara says, I don't want to lie anymore. Let's let them know how close we are. And I'm just like, okay, well, live your friendship truth. I don't know. We cut to follow me down into the valley night where all the flowers bloom, which Bergie sent me the music to that. I wish I could put it in the episode, but I don't want to get sued. Eric in a talking head says this is his first roundtable as a traitor, so he's nervous. Steven goes in saying something's fishy between Tara and Johnny. We're about to get a third traitor in the row. Johnny says, I want to win. I'm an Olympian after all, and watch the Olympics on Peacock and NBC. I love Alan Cumming comes in and he like drops a William Wallace quote and then drops a Tennessee Williams quote because I think he got insecure that Rob dropped a Mark Twain quote. So he was like, guess who else reads Rob Rausch? I'm going to do double quotes.
I also wonder if he writes that himself, if we know this, or does production write his entrance speeches to the round table? I'm actually curious about that.
I know nothing of this, but I think in a normal situation, they would write it. I have a feeling that's how it started. And then I have a suspicion that Alan is very involved and he'll be like, you know what? Cut that. Or wouldn't it be great if I said this? I would love to think that it's a collaboration.
Yeah, I would actually think that now too. Cause like, and who knows, maybe he has a script and he can just ad lib it. Like this.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
This is the thing that we want you to say. But like, if you have your own twist of doing it, you just go in there and just speak.
It was funny when he was asked about Michael Rappaport on Watch What Happens Live. I don't know if this was on the show or the after show, because, they grew up around the same time being actors in New York. And he said, yeah, like we kind of like I was aware of him, but he just kind of was just like, Michael's just so loud. And that's really it at the end of the day. He's just like, he didn't seem like he loved Michael. Anyways, he's like, players, the floor is yours. And Tara starts and says, so I feel Johnny and I have a few things to bring to the round table tonight. I'm a faithful. Johnny is too. And Moore's like, how can you promise that? Like, how can you promise that? And Tara's like,
can't.
You can't. He goes, Tara's like, I promise that we're giving you what we think. And Moore's like, but you said Johnny is a faithful. How can you make that promise? And Johnny says, here's the thing. We have worked together for 11 years. We come from a harsh background of Olympics. We rely on each other a lot. And Marcus says, I work with partners on Dancing with the Stars. You get to know each other, but I wouldn't blindly trust them. And Tara and Johnny go, no, we would blindly trust each other. We completely would. Like, what are you doing?
That made me, like, I giggled when that came out because I'm just like, you don't blindly, like, it's a game called the Traitors. Like, it doesn't, like, if you're playing Uno with your best friend, you're going to give them the draw 4 card here and there. Like, you're playing a game. It's not like,
I like that they like. No, I totally respect what you said, Mark, but we would totally blindly trust each other. Like that's by the way, if one of them's a serial killer, we're fucked because they will stand up for the other one. Like it's like this is the person to trust. So Johnny goes, we're best friends. And this is when Mark looks very concerned. And there's a shot of Rob Rausch kind of like slightly smiling because Rob is like, this couldn't go any better at this point,
It's just like, yeah, they just made it very, like, too obvious that they were best friends. Like, it's okay that you're best friends, but you don't need to be, like, announcing or coming out that you're best friends forever and, like, will never betray one another to the whole group.
Well, it seems very, like, it feels very, like, 6th grade. When you're like, you are my best friend and we're going to be best friends for life. And then as you get older, you do have your best friends, like the people that have been with you. But it gets a little sillier when you're like, this is my best friend, because it's like friendship isn't a competition. And when you were younger, it was like this weird competition, but they come from a competitive background. So maybe friendship is a competition where they are, and they are. So by the way, I don't think they're going to win this game, but I think I will go away going, nobody can be as good as friends as them. And so at the end of the day, they truly are the winners, right?
Yes, I agree with that. And honestly, if I was sitting at that round table, I'm like, one of these two need to go like right now. I cannot have both of them here.
I mean, I think Tara points out, it's like, it's going to be like kicking a drug. If like one of them is without the other, you're going to see that person wither away. Like, I feel I'm scared to see what that looks like if one gets out. Because I feel like it's like, you never probably saw the movie E.T., right?
I've seen the movie E.T.
Okay.
My dad made sure I watched that.
Is your dad an alien? Why would your dad make 3? Wait, son, I gotta sit you down. A real important movie to me. Like, why did he make sure you watched E.T.?
I don't know. There's like 3 important movies. E.T. was one of them. I think Free Willy was another. My dad listens to every episode.
Shout out, Mr. Bergersen.
What was the other one? Like, Back to the Future, the first one.
Oh, Back to the Future is a classic. That's
Yeah, you got it. At least the
hands
first
down
one.
a classic. Hands down a classic.
My dad really liked Star Trek. That's another one.
Well, but yeah, I was a Trekkie growing up, but the movies can be hit or miss. But Free Willy, I've never seen Free Willy still. I wonder why your dad had you watch Free
I don't
Willy?
think that was just what I remember watching as a kid.
Okay.
My dad just realized that one.
That's great. That's amazing. My dad made me watch Karate Kid. I remember that.
Oh, that one too.
There was like a bully at school, and I was like having a hard time sticking up for myself, and they were making fun of my sister too. And then he took me to see Karate Kid, and I was like, it was awesome that my dad did that, but I was like, I don't know karate. Like, I mean, like I can't. That's not going to do anything. I don't have a Mr. Miyagi. I don't know how to wax on, wax off. Anyways, you probably never seen the Karate Kid, have you?
No, I've seen the original.
Not the Jaden Smith
No,
version.
the original. I've seen that one. And then as I'm thinking about it right now, do you know Rudy, like the football player?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yes, my dad made me watch that one when I wasn't getting playing time. So he's like, this is a perfect movie for you.
How tall are you, Bergie?
I'm 6 foot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Rudy was a short guy, but I understand it. Anyways, So Kristen or Johnny says, Steven, as soon as I told Candace that they're coming for you, I talked to you next. I didn't see you have a solo moment the whole time with Candace. It looks like traitors warning each other. And Tara's like, Steven, I felt the last day you were putting up a wall. And Steven's like, I don't believe that at all. Candace was being shown her name is being thrown around and trying to figure out who it is. I'm sorry, but that's a weak argument. So Steven's trying to defend himself. And then Kristen's like, Tara, the day I tell you I don't trust you is the day I'm up for murder. Now your proximity, is clarified in that moment, and it makes me nervous. So now my antenna goes up on both of you. So Kristen is saying Tara and potentially Johnny. Tara is saying Steven. Mark says, I want to hear from Johnny. Candace pushed for you to be in the art museum to find out about the shield. That's ringing the alarm bell. And Johnny's like, I'm not a traitor because I'm not a traitor. Awesome, Johnny. Awesome. And then Mark literally goes, then fight for it, Johnny. Tell me why. And Johnny's like, I don't have to say it because I just am. I want to get every bit of info I have. Candace was trying to get me in there because I would have told her about being, if Candace was in there, I would have told her about the shield. Being kind is my Achilles heel, Johnny says. I like it when the good guy wins. That's my character. That's awesome, Johnny, but that's not going to be good here in this game, I don't think.
So he was just saying, like, I would have told Candace about the shield?
Yeah.
Like, he's helping the bad guy win in that scenario.
Yeah, so you really want to take Johnny as far as you can at this point. Like, so if you're a traitor, Johnny is like, once again, proving that he's like best friends with Tara and best friends with the traitors because he's great.
Yeah, and his arguments were just really weak. And he obviously amazing figure skater. Arguments are weak at the round table.
I love it. I don't have to say it because I just am. No, man, you do have to say it. Like that's maybe
Tell us why.
Life, yeah, you
Tell
have
us why
to,
you're a face.
Yeah, in normal life maybe you don't, but here that's like the game. You have to say it. And Mark says we clearly saw a pattern for Tara. Everyone put up Tara in the end, and you didn't, Johnny. And Johnny's like, because I played the game poorly doesn't make me a traitor. That's my truth. So Johnny's truth is he's horrible at this game, and he's like has no problem telling people that. And Natalie then says. Yeah, Natalie says, there's a 25% chance I'm not here tomorrow, Steven. Lisa put gold in your basket. That wasn't random. And Steven's like, it was completely random. There's more gold. I wanted the dagger. And Natalie says, you said packing my bags this morning. It was so fake. I felt like you were pretending. And Steven goes, I was convinced. It was not fake. It was not a story. You're barking up the wrong tree now. I have to put you on the list as a traitor. So Steven says, I have to put you on the list now, Natalie. And then Alan, always at the most inopportune time, is like, players, the time for talk is over. And then this is, Alan's like, does anybody want to use the dagger for 2 votes? If you want to unleash the dagger tonight, raise your hand now. And Natalie says, Rob, just say you have it because I'm the only one in the dagger group up for murder tonight. And then Rob was like, I have it. Because Natalie puts him on the spot. And Rob in a talking head says, I don't give a shit. It makes me look stronger as a player. I have 2 votes. How are you going to go up against Rob? Do you agree with Rob?
Yeah, like at this point, like there's no benefit in hiding it because like one, he can't be murdered, like obviously, but like as a faithful, like everyone knows he can't be murdered, so there's no point in keeping that hidden anymore. And then also too, like his last time to use it is this next episode. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So he's gonna use it this next episode because he might as well. Like he's got no would use it.
Well,
So I wonder if he's gonna use it to defend Eric or take Eric out.
yeah. Oh
It's gonna
man,
be
next week's gonna be
interesting.
crazy.
It's gonna
Yeah,
be a
because I
great
was like,
episode.
yeah, yeah, because they're not going to vote Rob to flush the dagger because at this point the dagger doesn't really matter after this next one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they start to vote, and Tara votes for Steven. Steven votes for Johnny. Maura votes for Johnny. Eric says, I didn't want my vote to be a throwaway vote because he's referencing Candace doing the throwaway vote. I didn't want my vote to be a throwaway vote, and I couldn't read where the room was going, so I had to go with my gut, and I voted for you, Steven. And that's very suspicious. Johnny votes for Steven. Kristen votes for Tara. Natalie votes for Steven. And Rob says, I came in here wanting to vote you, Johnny. I want to be up front, but I trust Natalie. Yeah, I voted for you, Steven. I'm sorry. And so that Steven is banished. And then we have one more person, Mark, and he reveals that he voted for Tara. He wanted to vote for Johnny, and I believed you tonight, Johnny. So it is interesting. Mark, Steven, and Eric all changed their votes at the round table, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Eric's the only one that is turned out to be suspicious by Kristen. Anyway, Steven says it was the opportunity of a lifetime to play this game. I was eager to play the game, and sometimes that eagerness got the best of me. I respect you all, but I'm a faithful. You blew it. And Mara is like, well done for chaos. And we know still Johnny, Kristen, Natalie, and Tara are shortlisted for murder. Johnny, did you see he did the heart hands at Tara across the table? Did you see that?
And
Calm down, Johnny. Calm down, man.
Before the round table started, they whispered "I love you" to each other. I don't know if you caught that either.
Yeah, I did. But he's just like, what is going on, man? Like, how much friend did you guys have a fight at some point? You're like falling in love with each other as friends again? Like, this is intense. But Mark says, what are we missing? And Rob is like, bro. And Kristen's like, what a shit show. And Eric says, I'm so confused. And to Mark and Rob, Eric says, we've been on Johnny all day. And Natalie says, oh, fuck, I'm so sorry. She says this to Eric and Rob. And Rob's like, it's not your fault, Natalie. We've all been wrong, but that was a big one. Like, that was great. That was a big one, Natalie. Rob says, Tara and Johnny revealing their besties for the resties, just showing that they've been keeping secrets the whole game. So Rob, once again, thinks this is amazing for his game. Johnny and Tara there says, we have not known anything this whole game. Why do we keep trying? One time, we got to get it right. And that's what I wonder if they left that line in because they eventually do get it right one time. Like, is that what they're setting this up for? Like with the edit?
I wonder, like, do you think they're gonna solve Rob? Because like I feel like
I would be so bummed if they get Rob.
I'm just like I'm wondering like how are they gonna solve Rob before the end? Like it has to be Eric that gives Rob up. In my opinion.
Oh, if Eric gave Rob up, that would be fascinating.
There would be a storm online too for Eric. Like I can't imagine for all the Rob fans, and then Eric just takes him out. That'd be awful.
So they agree that, if they survive, they're going to have to target new people. Which one of those people would be Rob? Because Rob has never been targeted yet. So just prepare yourselves. Eric's in the kitchen with Kristen, Mark, Rob, and Maura. Or Rob's not there yet, but the rest of those. And Eric says, in my head, we were all going for Johnny, but then it swung. And Kristen says, well, why didn't you have tons of stuff to say tonight, Eric? If I'm being honest, it's like, what do you think? And you're like, I'm like, say something. And Eric says, if you look at the round table, I have kept all my words. I was so lost. I was so sure on Johnny. And then he had that defense. And then looking at all the people I trust, I didn't want to do a throwaway vote. And Kristen's like, but you have to have your own opinion and not follow the herd. And Eric says in a talking head, Kristen is so scary. I don't know what she will pull. What if she says Eric and is suspicious of me? That will be awful. And that's when Rob comes in the room. And Kristen's like, you sent a full faithful home tonight, Eric. I mean, but like, he's not the only one that switched his vote. Rob switched his vote and Mark switched his vote.
Yeah, I think it's more so that he can't even get a sentence out without saying like who else he thinks is a traitor right now. It's just like I think he switched up his game too much and he's too nervous now because he became a traitor.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was interesting that he got targeted and he's nervous immediately. Kristen in a talking head says, in short, I haven't learned much except how much Eric wasn't saying anything, making me nervous sometimes. You have to go with your gut reaction. Kristen to Mark says, I don't trust Eric. He's way too quiet. And this when Rob comes in the room with them and he's like, it's becoming a little too much. So if I'm murdered tomorrow, look at Eric. So Rob hears this, right? And then the traitors are back in the turret. And Eric is like, bro, that was awful. Kristen came right at me. And Rob is like, I followed her. She is suspicious of you, so that's pretty bad. We could be in trouble, but we need to murder someone. We have 4 to choose from. The pro of murdering Johnny, it would point at Tara. No way Tara would do that, or would she? And if you do Tara, it would make sense. She's got suspicion on her. People would be like, what the hell? And they would put it on Johnny. Natalie, the argument is, Eric says she trusts you, Rob, so hard. My only concern is she's so smart and so articulate. She has to be gone tonight or tomorrow, Eric says. And then Kristen, murdering Kristen puts suspicion on you, Eric, Rob says. And Rob says it's going to put pressure on you. You've got to convince Kristen it's not you. And Eric says, as long as you have my back with Mark Ballas, I think I can do it. And Rob's like, well, obviously we have a good argument to murder any of them. So tonight, then Alan's like, tonight, the shortlisted players will meet their fate in the dungeon. So they have to do a Jack in the Box. They all go to the dungeon one at a time. They do a Jack in the Box. And if the traitor pops out, you have been murdered. And that's all the clips we kind of see from next week. We see them spinning the box. And Kristen says, I feel scared. And Tara says, if I'm not murdered, I pray Johnny is here. And we see their reaction. We see their reactions, but it doesn't really tell us anything. And, you know, there's just some VO of like the long road to victory is nearing its end, but players to you, you have to know thy enemy. And they talk about the dagger being used. So what did you think of these final moments?
I thought it was good. I wonder, like, I personally wouldn't murder Johnny or Tara. This, like, how about you? Would you murder either of those?
No,
players?
I think, you know, I think Natalie's going to get murdered.
I think it's Natalie too. I really do.
Kristen, I would do Kristen though, and I know Eric would never go for that because he would automatically put suspicion on him. But I get scared Kristen's going to if I'm pulling for Rob, I get scared Kristen will immediately figure it out once she's right about Eric.
And my thing, like, can he use the dagger against Kristen? Like, probably not. I wouldn't use the dagger against Kristen. That would be two guns blazing.
I would love to see a scene where Kristen and Mark are realizing Rob's a traitor. Like, I think that would be fun because they seem like they've been really confiding in each other. And I think that would be a fun scene.
And do we know, like, for the final episode, like season 3, do the traitor, or when you go to the Circle of Truth, do you have to reveal if you're a traitor or not? Because that changes the whole finale.
Yeah. Well, the Circle of Truth, the round table?
Yeah. So, like, if you remember last year, they took out during the finale that if you're a traitor, you don't have to reveal that, or faithful.
Yes,
you don't get to tell people.
Yeah.
Because if Eric goes, this is the last episode where they have to reveal someone's a traitor or not. So if he can get Eric to survive this next roundtable, that's super important, because then everybody's like, okay, now it's got to be Eric, but they won't know who else a traitor is, or if Eric was a traitor. You know what I mean? So, like, that's a big deal if they know that or not, because I'm curious if they're going back to like season 2 or if it's still season 3, because if it's like season 3, you just need to get Eric past this last roundtable.
Yeah.
Because then nobody will know if he was a traitor or not, and like it for absolute certainty.
So we have 3 episodes left or 2 episodes left?
I think we have 2, right? This is 9. Yeah, it's 11 episodes and a reunion.
And the reunion will be 1 episode, and they'll air the reunion on the same night as the finale, or that's how they've done it in the past. Is there any other things that you thought of or wanted to say?
No, I think we covered everything throughout this hour and 15 minutes.
Well, well, I guess somebody's keeping count. Wow. Bergie's just watching the time. Wow. No, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Sorry for the delay, you guys, but I really do appreciate anybody even giving a crap about us. That's really, really nice. As always, I put all of Bergie's links in the show notes. So go support any way you can. He's still on Cameo. He's still on ChatBCC or ChatBC.
Yes.
So all of those links are on there. And we got to get Taylor back on at some point, too. I think Taylor is going to come on for Summer House at some point, you guys. So Have a great Monday, you guys. I hope you're enjoying. It's raining cats and dogs here, but I hope everybody else is enjoying their day. And we'll come back on Wednesday for an all-new episode. Bye!
Bye, guys.